Hey everybody, it's Corey from Thought Soldiers. So, wanted to talk about what's kind of been going on lately. I'm about to go into work and haven't been able to really make videos at home. Just a lot going on, and having to clear a lot of energy at home, and I don't like that coming into the videos. So, just catching my breath. What's been going on was about three or 4 days ago now. It's been 4 days actually. 4 days ago, an energy wave came in that shook up my entire world and kind of flipped it upside down momentarily. And what I'm getting now as I'm going through it is it's a timeline correction. So basically, when the solar eclipse happened on July 2nd with the new moon, it was a time of deep clearing. And now what's happening is with the things that we have underway manifestation-wise and what we're working with, it was like literally all of our baggage that had been kept in the shadows or we were unaware of was literally brought to the forefront and was like, here it is. Look at it. Look at it, and what are you going to do about it? So the feeling was like, we're on our way, we're on our path. And literally everything just got dumped in front of us. And now it's like, what are you going to do about it? Do you still want to keep on this timeline? And what are you going to do to correct this timeline? And the call is, when this happens and your whole world gets shaken up, is basically, it's like you realize that you've been emptying your backpack and you've been clearing and you're not as heavy. But there's still things, unresolved issues, and maybe some things that you missed that you need to get rid of now. And that's exactly what it's been. It's like, here you go. Here's more of the deep wounds, the deep trauma, deep stuff. Clear it out, because it's not only going to happen. It's not only going to help you, but it's going to help out the collective as well. So with this shift and this kind of correction course, it's a reevaluation of what we've been doing, and it's a very supported feeling. Like, it's one of those where for the first couple of days it was like, oh crap, what's going to happen? Am I going to be losing everything that I have and everything that I've worked hard to keep? But the energy feels very supporting. There's been also too, I've had moments where I'm asking questions, and the universe has been providing me incorrect information in order for me to clear, because they knew that it would trigger a deep emotional response to let this stuff out. And as soon as I clear it, things start to correct. So if you have a way to clearly see into your future and be able to see outcomes, the outcomes were very not good for a few days. And the more that I clear and the more that I just let the emotional release occur, the timeline starts to correct. And then I find that my day is going better. I'm able to live in more gratitude. And it's just like, it's getting easier and easier. Now, granted, this does have to do with a personal thing of mine. I've been going through it for the past few days. And it's been very hard, very disconnected. Haven't been eating a whole lot, no appetite at all. Getting very sick, a lot of deep rooted fears. And through this, when we are at this emotional vulnerability, is a call to protect and to ground ourselves and to put up our shields, whether it be a psychic shield or the golden shield of protection, or the calling in the white light, whatever you use, violet flame, whatever you use as a protection, is a call to protect. Because when we're at that vulnerable point and we are open and we're raw and our hearts are wide open, things can come in, critters can come in and start to leech off of us and kind of get us there. And so the call is to protect while you are going through your clearing. So one thing that has been helping me through this is keeping in motion. So since a lot of this clearing is emotional and it is held in our body, the call is to stay active. So if we look at emotion as energy in motion, when we stay in motion, it's easier for us to clear. Now there's a time though to, to slow down, to process things like that. But if you find yourself getting stuck or in a stagnant loop of negative emotion, almost sitting in your shadow for a little too long, get up and move around. Take an alternate route to work. Step outside, because what you're doing is when you're moving the energy of the grid. And you're also, if you go to new areas, this is something I found. I've been going to different areas in town, and I'll get new insight, new downloads, and I'll actually access different fifth dimensional codes and anchor in more of the fifth dimensional reality into my existence. So I found that I went to an area where I normally wouldn't go, and right when I got there, everything went into HD. I felt amazing, because for a while, the grid keepers and everyone that's been doing their part on the Ascension process has been uploading these codes to different parts of the grid. And when we move there, we start to access new insights, new level of clarity, and we're also anchoring in and uploading our codes to that part of the grid as well. So that stagnancy, if you're feeling like, so for me, I clear a lot in my bedroom, and I find when I get up and I move and then come back to my room later, it feels a lot clearer too. Right now, our angelic protection and guidance, at least mine, if you call upon them, will clear your room. They will clear your area in your home as long as you ask them to. Also, a call to keep sage on you and to sage as much as possible, Palo Santo, sweetgrass, whatever you use as a smudging tool, use those things. Because there's a lot of deep emotional clearing right now. And I know for me growing up, quick little story, I did a lot of emotional clearing in the same bedroom that I lived in for, 20 plus years maybe. And the imprints of all of that stuff hung in the walls of my house. And it got really dark in that room. And it wasn't until I moved out that I finally recognized how much that old energy was just kind of sitting stale in the walls and how much it was affecting me. So that is a huge call right now. Also too, there is a guidance team that I was made aware of, and I was going to do an entire video on this, but it just wasn't the right time, and so now I'm going to integrate it into this video, are the Golden Protectors. So the channeling that I got was the Golden Protectors are a group of angelic, celestial, star beings, as well as here on Earth, that are protecting the Rainbow Bridge to the fifth dimension. And you can call upon them at any time. They're here because they saw that the lower forces were thwarting this wave that were heading into 5D and heading into New Earth territory that they were kind of leeching on. And so what you can do is call upon the Golden Protectors to activate your golden shield of protection, to suit up your armor while you're going about your day. So I'm one of those where I'm kind of on and off about the armoring thing, but just know it's there and you're divinely guided and protected if you're on this ascension journey and you're doing this thing. Especially during these timeline shakeups right now, because my world as I knew it fell apart very quickly. And it was a real big call to clear things and not sure of what was going to happen. But the more that I clear and the more that I let that emotional release out, the more that the timeline corrects and the clearer and better the outcome is. And also too, if you're going through this right now, you will know whether or not you're supported on the current timeline you're on, because the universe is going to throw things in your way to help you out. And that's a big thing that's been going on. I've been getting, clearings happening, a lot of great information, a lot of great insight, a lot of love and support, not only from the angelic realm, the celestial realm, but my soul family. I've been going into meditation, and my soul family's been coming up and giving me hugs, giving me kisses on the forehead, even intervening. I had one, I was trying to clear and kind of get some answers on a situation, and I had a soul family member show up and go, "What are you doing? Let this be and focus on yourself," and kind of do some bro intervention, which was really cool. He showed up and was just like, "Yo, do you, and everything's gonna be cool." And so you'll know if you're supported with the timeline that you're accessing and where you're moving, because you'll feel that support and things will come in in order to keep you on that timeline if it's exactly where you're supposed to be and what you need. So guys, if you're going through this, hold on and just keep clearing. There's been some massive waves coming through, and just know that you're not only doing this for yourself, you're doing it for your collective, you're doing it for the collective, you're doing it for your family, you're doing it for your relationships, and it's getting better. It's definitely getting a lot better. And remember too that now if you're expanding in your abilities, whether it be heightening your intuition, your psychic abilities, your clairs, the call to really focus on those so we're not getting incorrect information, because I'm noticing too that the ego, the more that we ascend, the ego can sound like guidance depending on your level of clarity and discernment of what is what. And so the call is to clear out those chakras. So I've been doing a lot of ear chakra clearing and raking my ear chakras in order to hear clearly and to make sure I'm not blocked, and to check if there's any entities that are posted up in those areas. You know, I did a clearing yesterday, and we found an entity in the back of my third eye that we wouldn't have known it was there unless I had someone who's extremely expert come in and look at that. And she came in and she was like, oh, look, an entity that you wouldn't know is there unless you looked at it in the eye. And we sent it to the light, and it was beautiful. And then one last thing from that session that was interesting is that when you are clearing your blocks, to make sure you're clearing them out in the universe and you're not stashing them away for later. So I recognized, or she recognized, and I kind of knew it too, just didn't know that this was possible. Kind of intuitively knew it, but it was good confirmation, is when you're clearing these blocks, sometimes you can hide them away so you can bring them up later on if you want them. Especially if you come from a very untrusting lineage where no one is trusted, you know, things like that. Like my grandma definitely had some programs and some beliefs that no one can be trusted in this world. No one, you know, and I didn't know my grandma, but it makes sense with the understanding of my family and the understanding of who I am, that basically these blocks would be removed and then she would kind of hide them away. So if I needed them, I could bring them back up. And so when I'm clearing, I want to make sure that I'm clearing those blocks from the universe too and sending them to the light and make sure that they don't come back. Because there's some unhealthy blocks, especially when it comes down to trust, when it comes down to loving myself and trusting my abilities as well. A lot of our families have had these abilities and they were shut down just due to old programming and old structures. And now that we're stepping into it, we're finding that a lot of that karma that we're facing right now is our family stuff with not trusting the abilities and not being able to speak their truth, not being able to access those abilities because of fear. And so we have to let go of fear and embrace and own our truth and own who we are and own what we are capable of in our power, and be able to use it for good and not use it for the control reasons, or not be afraid that we're going to be, not be afraid that we're going to have to, we're going to get exiled because of them. So, yes, I have to get into work. I just got the notice I have to get into work. It is my time. So I'm going to cut this video a little short. Guys, much love and respect to everybody out in the Webiverse. You know, once again, I honor you and I'm super proud of what you're doing. And, you know, I love to say choose the path of least resistance. But if you're resonating with this video, you're not on the path of least resistance. You're probably on the hardest path that you can be on. You're on level expert. So recognize that, and recognize that you are so damn badass that you decided to conquer this territory. The territory of your mind and the territory of your heart, the territory of understanding and seeking truth. And know that it's not an easy task. It's not an easy feat. It's hard letting go, and sometimes it's hard to surrender and to trust what's going on in the divine orchestration. But the more that I can zoom out of my temporal self and look at things from a wider angle and clear up a lot of this baggage and shadow realm, dark murkiness, and shake up my core essence, I start to see clearer and clearer what the future has in store for me, and I recognize more and more why I'm going through what I'm going through. And I'll tell you what, at least for me and the timeline I'm accessing and the things that are coming, it's beautiful. It doesn't feel beautiful right now, but I'm able to try to zoom out and get a better perspective on it. So guys, Much love and respect to everybody out there. If you haven't, click subscribe. Also, please click the links below. I've got appointments scheduled. I just dropped all my Reiki prices and my coaching prices. And sign up for the email list. Sign up. There's a lot of content pumping out on there. So anyways, guys, that's all I got. And I will see you on the other side. Namaste.